I tried to be subtle and allude to something in yesterday's video. I put up an image of the lyrics of a song, Nothing Else Matters, from Metallica. And apparently I was too subtle because nobody got it. And that's probably my fault. Trust I seek and I find in you every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view and nothing else matters. You see, in 5 months, when the election occurs, what's going on right now is not going to matter. I know a lot of people think, oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. Just wait. Because I can take you back 5 months and show you things that were happening in January, and I guarantee everyone's forgotten about them. The loss of Kobe Bryant, the attack in Iran that killed General Soleimani, the grand total around the world of people that had died from quote unquote COVID-19, 9 at that time. 9 people. And so many other things that happened that people forgot about. There was a plane that had dumped a bunch of jet fuel over kids in LA. There was then counter strikes in Iraq. There was a bunch of soldiers that got injured. All that was January, and that was 5 months ago. And I guarantee everyone forgot about it. Everyone's forgotten about it. And that's how long we have between now, the middle of June, and November. But there is something happening beneath the waves here in Florida. And it's been kind of a strange thing to watch. There's a girl that rose to stardom in the Trump world, for lack of a better term, some years ago, and she's kind of gone dark. But she's stayed very close, and a recent announcement makes me think that we might see this young woman in a much more powerful and much more prominent role very soon. Now, also, a month or so ago, maybe more, I talked about these 4 governors that were going to play a key role in the upcoming election. Governors Wolf, Northam, Evers, and Whitmer. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and North Carolina, respectively. And very oddly, and recently, CNN put out their electoral map, and lo and behold, look at the ones in yellow. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. Now, there is some deafness going on in the liberal circles in D.C. I promise you that there is no chance Florida goes blue. And very, very, very unlikely that Arizona goes blue. Because this is what's going to dominate the coming election, not any social strife. Because once the holidays start to come up and all that extra money that people got with their check, that's all spent, and then the bills start to rack up again. This is going to be the big problem. This is the girl I was alluding to. Her name is Pam Bondi, and she was the Attorney General here in Florida, in Jacksonville. And she has stayed very, very close to the Trump campaign for a long time. She's no longer the Attorney General. She is a special advisor to the Trump campaign. And very recently, they have announced that Mr. Trump will be accepting the nomination not in North Carolina, but in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, anyone from Florida would think that's kind of strange. Why Jacksonville? Why not Tampa? Why not Orlando? Why not Miami? I think it has to do with Miss Bondi, to be very truthful. Because that's her stomping ground. And just south of there, let me see if I can zoom in on it, is this very new area. Well, I don't want to say new in the sense that it has existed recently, but it's very recently been kind of blown up with population. It's right here on the coast. It's called Ponte Vedra Beach. This whole region, Nocatee, is absolutely exploding in population right now. They cannot build houses fast enough. They get bought literally as fast as they get built. They go top dollar. I think the median income here is something like $151,000 a year. It's absolutely insane in this area just south of Jacksonville. Jacksonville being the largest geographic city in North America, has a lot of everything, basically. It's a tough place to recommend to live, even though there are some absolutely spectacularly beautiful houses and wonderful neighborhoods. Those beautiful houses and wonderful neighborhoods are a hop, skip, and a jump from places that I wouldn't be at any time of day for safety reasons. So it's kind of quizzical, but I think it's Pam Bondi. Now, just for normal men out there, I thought I would include this picture to prove a point. You see, exercising and being in shape is a culture in Florida. This is the Attorney General. How many states do you know where the Attorney General would go out and run like this? You see, and nobody cares in Florida to the extent that they do what they would in other places. I mean, I could see, anywhere else, people just going, looks of shock on their face and, oh, look what she's wearing. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares here. It's just, I'm only using the picture to prove a point. That it's not just bikini models and TikTok girls and, other people out there that have bad judgment that like to show a little skin, get a little sun, and enjoy Florida. This is Pam Bondi, the Attorney General for the state of Florida. And I'm wondering very seriously if there's a calculation being made that if Joe Biden, has decided to choose a woman as a running mate, if they've had to have the talk with Mr. Pence and say, look, we can't compete with this unless we make a change. And she would be a very powerful asset to have as a VP candidate. Now, I know that's a stretch. Even saying it, I know it's a stretch. But you have to think about things. They change very quickly. Her Twitter account has gotten kind of quiet lately, too. So I wonder if she's trying to just stay away from the fray here. She was part of fighting the impeachment. She was part of clearing Flynn. She has been part of so many different big parts, big things. She was one of the attorneys that led the fight against Obamacare, tried to get Obamacare overturned. She's got a lot of things in her resume. But on kind of a dovetailing note, I chose this image for a reason. This was, of course, from The Simpsons. This is the young girl character. She had just realized that the government was so corrupt that there was really no changing it. And it was one of those heartbreaking, Lisa Simpson. And so she begins to tear up her essay that she had written about, how wonderful, America is and all this kind of stuff. We have these learning moments in our lives when we just have to accept things as they are, but then still move forward, not give up. And I think we might be at one of those moments where we're just going to have to accept something. That whether we think de jure states' rights is a good idea, effectively right now, that is how the nation is being governed in reality. Because Washington State, and I could do a whole nother video on this, the whole Chaz thing up there, the whole autonomous zone, it's also a state that has the same gun laws, roughly, restrictions as Texas. They allow open carry. So how could you have this group of super duper 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 lefties taking over Seattle in a state that has a makeup more like that of Texas in belief system? It goes to regional governance. What goes on in Seattle is very, very different than what goes on in the rest of the state of Washington. And the same thing's going on here in Florida, just on a much more detailed scale. And this is going to be one of those critical states. But mark my words, it's not going to be about what's going around now in the news in 5 months. In 5 months, I guarantee it is going to be about Christmas. In 5 months, it is going to be about who do I think is going to, if they are elected, help me give a better Christmas to my kids? Who is going to help me by 2021 to get out from under this mountain of debt, to get back to normal business-wise? You see, all that social stuff, that's luxury. When it comes down to paying the bills, I'm telling you, that's what's going to drive the next election. And that's why I think, against all odds, I think Mr. Trump's going to win. Because he's going to be able to make the best case for it. And I'll be very honest with you, this ain't going to hurt. I know it's crass, but it is what it is. This ain't going to hurt. Pam Bondi is not a hard woman to look at, believe me. And she's smart. She's incredibly smart, driven woman, incredibly successful. She's a Florida native, born and raised in Tampa. She's a Florida bar. She's got her law degree. She wasn't all that unpopular. I just think that there's going to be a time when, right before the election, unfortunately, sometimes decisions get made just simply by how things look on their face. And if people look at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or Susan Rice, whichever one it's going to be, versus Donald Trump and Pam Bondi, America is just that superficial. I hate to say it. It's just that case. Because I don't think the BLM and Antifa people really, really think that the parentheses D is the answer for them. So, anyway, I will leave it there. But keep your eye on Pam Bondi. Because beneath the waves, something else is going on. Like, share, subscribe.